What is up, Booger Beans? Welcome back to another episode of Adventures with Boog. So on this episode, we are going to try and get the bus kind of roadworthy. So we've got our insurance and we've got a registration. We'll talk a little bit about that at the end of this episode. So if you want to check that out, stick around for that. And then also what we need to do is we need to do a couple things to make sure that the engine and the body and everything is ready to drive. So we need to check the oil. We need to check the transmission. We have problems with the reverse gear. We've always had those problems. We've kind of been able to navigate around them as we've been driving the bus around the farmyard and that kind of stuff. But we're going to see if we can take a look at that. We're going to do a full coolant system flush, and then we should basically be able to go ready to go. We might also check just some other things as we go. If we find loose connections, if we find dirty things, air filter, those kinds of things as we go through the bus, and we'll just kind of check them out and clean them and fix them as we go along. But before we get going, go down and hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. We have 83.5% of our viewers are not subscribed to our channel. So if you guys go down, hit that subscribe button, we'd have 2,800 subscribers. So go down there, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into the bus here. Alright, so let's start with the easiest things first. We are going to take a look at our air filter. You can see through the inlet hole that it doesn't look too dirty, but I also want to take out the air filter so I can measure the intake size so that I can hopefully get either a K&N or a Spectra or a AFE or some sort of cotton filter. I know some people say they don't do anything, some people say they do stuff. I've personally had experiences where I prefer a K&N or an AFE filter. So yeah, leave it down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Some of them have been dyno tested, some of them haven't. I don't know. I prefer it, and we're going to see if we can get one on here. So what we need is Allen key. Pop this out. Band should come off. Filter should pull straight out. So let's get to it. So guys, we got this big beast out. It doesn't look too bad. Like, I can see some light through it in some locations, but not all locations. So I'm not too worried about it. It's not like it's going to cause any issues right now. So we are going to throw this guy back in there. But what we need to look for is a cone filter that we can match the inlet diameter of the engine. So I went in here and I actually measured it, and the inlet diameter here is 4 3/4 inches, and the inlet here is actually 6 inches. So it's kind of weird how this one isn't the same size as that. So I don't know if this is actually the right filter that's supposed to be in there, but it's what is in there right now. We're going to put it back in for now until we can find a filter. I'm going to have to go to PartSource or Napa or somewhere like that and just kind of talk to them and figure it out. I know this is similar to a Ford 7.3 Power Stroke. It's not the exact same because they have a different air intake set up on those vehicles. So they actually have a panel filter, which obviously isn't the same as this. So we'll have to do some searching, but once we get that figured out, I'll let you guys know as well. Next thing that we're going to get into, I think, is possibly, I don't know if I want to start the coolant flush first or if I want to do the oil change first. Well, let's take a look. Alright guys, so we just pulled out the engine dipstick. You can see there that this oil is black, real black. There's no gold left in it at all. So it definitely needs to be replaced. That being said, even just the engine oil's just been sitting there for 3 months, so it's not really the best situation anyways. And it looks like the engine oil is a little bit low. It's just below the add level, so we want to make sure that we get that straightened away before we drive it really anywhere, even though because it is below the add level. So we need to put in some oil there. Check your owner's manual, or check you can find an online manual for this engine, which I found, and the capacity for this guy is 18.9 liters of 1540 heavy duty diesel oil. So we're gonna have to go pick up a 4 or 5 gallon drum of that oil, and then we'll get that figured out. We also need to go and write down the oil filter. The oil filter is on the other side of the engine, so we need to take a look at that and figure out what type of oil filter we need to get so that we can put a new one back on there. So let's go take a look at that right now. Okay, so that is the engine oil filter. It looks like a Napa filter, filter number 1734. So that's what we'll look at getting before we get into the oil change. Make sure we can get the right one. Should be good. So that's what we're going to look to get. And then also right here, that's the oil drain plug right here. So you can see there is some oil leaks up underneath this bus, but that being said, it's also a 20-year-old bus, so oil leaks happen. So we're going to take a look and see if we can find where those leaks are coming from, see if we can fix them or clean them up in any way, shape, or form. So yeah. So right there, down here, is the clamp for the bottom radiator hose, right down there, that silver band. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop that clamp off, and then underneath there we've got a Rubbermaid. You can see the blue Rubbermaid down there, and that's going to catch all the coolant. Right up here, right here is the thermostat housing, right there, and a thermostat, or the overflow line is right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this off, and then we're going to pop this guy off and pop off the thermostat housing, take out the thermostat, close the system back up, and then we'll run water through it. We're going to use just regular water from the hose for now, but then we'll also run a distilled water flush through the whole system, and then we'll fill it back up with clean fluid. So let's get to popping that guy down there off. Alright, Bean, so we got the first amount of coolant out, and as you can see, it's pretty dirty. So all that orange color is actually rust, because this is green coolant that goes in here. So yeah, it looks a little yucky. It's not super bad, but also remember that we drained like half the coolant when we changed the heaters out. So now we're ready to start flushing the system. So we've got just a water hose for right now because I obviously haven't been able to go to town to get anything. So we've got fresh water. We'll wash it out the top of the radiator, and then we'll also pop off one of the heater hoses, and we'll run the fluid or the water back up through the heater, and then it will come back out through the water system. And yeah, should be good. Should be able to flush a lot of the crap out of the system and get it cleaned up. But before we do any of that, I think we have to pop out the thermostat, because otherwise there won't be any flow because the thermostat's not open. So we got to pop that open, and then we'll get to the rest of it. All right, so we're just about ready to start draining that flush out. So what we did is we just put the cleaner in there, filled it with distilled water, and let it warm up until the thermostat started to opened up the heaters, let it run all the way through, and now we'll be able to drain it out and basically get rid of most of the contaminants. You can always fill it up again, run another cleaner through it and until it's perfectly clean, but this does a great job of cleaning out. I think we're going to be in pretty good shape after this. If there was any grit in there, I think it would have gotten rid of most of it. And I've seen people do it 3, 4, 5 times, but you get to a point of just diminishing returns. After 2 flushes like this, I think we're at the peak of what we're going to get in there. So now, while we're waiting for the engine to cool, it is a big, heavy engine that once it gets warm, it takes a long time to cool down. So while it's still, while we're waiting for that, what we're going to do is drain the oil out of the engine. So it's a pretty simple process. Underneath the engine there is a drain plug. Pull the plug, let it drain into a bucket, and then we're gonna, once that's all drained, then we're gonna undo the drain pan and we're gonna pull that off and we're gonna clean it all out and put on a new gasket. The reason that we're doing that, it's not mandatory to do on every oil change. The only reason we're doing that is because it looks like the gasket has some leaks. International has discontinued that gasket. So we're going to scrape that all off, clean it all up really, really nice, and then we'll get a new gasket and new setup installed on there. So that's the plan. So now we got to crawl underneath there and get the oil plug out. Okay. It looks like we're not going to be able to get the oil pan out, which kind of sucks because I can't reseal it. So in order to get the engine or the oil pan out, we have to actually take cherry picker or like the Bobcat or something and lift the front of the engine, put a support under there, take out the cross member, and then once we do that, we got to go and pull the pan out because the cross member actually kind of tucks just behind the pan, like it's like a ½ inch, and you just can't get it out without removing that cross member. So it's gonna have to wait for a different oil change. It's not gonna happen today, but what we might also do is when we go to wash it, I'll take a whole bunch of engine degreaser and brake clean and spray it all down there and get it clean, and then get the silicone and put the silicone on the outside. I know sealing from the outside doesn't usually work the best, but it's the best we can do for now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pop the oil filter off there, fill the new one with new oil, put the new one on there, and then we'll start filling it with oil. And while we're filling it with oil, we'll drain the antifreeze. So that's what we got left. Let's go. The bus is ready to go for its first ride. So, or well, not first ride, as obviously it's had a lot of miles on her, but she's ready to go for our first ride as a Skoolie. So, we weren't able to take the pan off, so it's kind of a pain. So there is that one oil leak on that side so the pan on the T44E kind of like dips down around the bottom, I believe harmonic balancer at the bottom there. And because of that, it kind of, it gets stuck between the front engine cross member and the block, and you can't really get it out. So what we have to do is get the Bobcat or a cherry picker and lift up the front of the engine, put wood blocks under the sides of the engine, take out the front cross member, drop the pan, and then seal that. So that's not going to be a today job. That's going to be a whole day ordeal one day. So for right now, it's fine. We'll just watch the oil level, make sure it doesn't drop too low or cause any issues like that. The radiator flush worked really well. The water went in like crystal clear, obviously, and came out like dirty brown, and you could see all these bits of rust and debris and kind of stuff like that inside that flush. So that removed a lot of the crap that was in there, which is really awesome. I'm really happy about that. And yeah, she's basically ready to go. The power steering and brake fluid is all up to check. There's no issues there. There's just little dipsticks on this. You just pull them out, check it. or for the power steering, you check it. On the brake booster, it's just got a little reservoir. You can look in there and check that. We do have to check like the pads and the rotors and all that kind of stuff. If I remember, they were replaced about 20,000 kilometers before we bought the bus, so that's not a big deal. Like, that's not very many kilometers on them, so they should be fine, but we'll take a look at them. And yeah, other than that, pretty good. We have a couple more things that we're going to get to on the weekend, and those will be coming up shortly. But again, if you guys haven't already, go down, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and let us know what you think about the episode so far. We've shifted inside the bus because the weather has kind of taken a turn for the worse. It's just raining. It's supposed to rain for the next couple of days. So that's good for the farmers, but not very good for finishing the outside of the bus. But we are really chomping at the bit to get moved in here and start actually living on the bus, you know, making suppers and eating and you know, just doing our thing, right? We're really getting close to that, and we just really want to be there. And we also want to make sure that for May Long Weekend, which is like the first camping weekend in Alberta, that we can head out there with the family and go camping. And I understand with the rules and stuff that might not happen, but that's our hope, that we can be there and we can make that happen. So Sydney is gone for the next like 4 hours. She went up to Edmonton to pick up some or to take her, I think, to go for a Mother's Day gift, and I think to get my birthday gift, which is kind of cool. But she said we need a couple things before we can really move into the bus. So one of those things is a shower curtain. So I've got the rod, and I have to kind of build some bracketry and figure out how we're going to get it up there, but we've got it. And also have a closet rod. So I bought the rod, and I bought the curtain, or the curtain rod, and I bought the curtain and the hangers and some sisal rope and all that kind of stuff. And I've got 4 hours, and I'm going to try and crank it out as much as I can. And hopefully, when Sydney gets back this evening, we'll have everything set up and ready to move in either tomorrow or Monday. So that's the plan. And yeah, we got to get to work. Let's get to it. Alright, Beans. So, shower curtain is in. Right now we just have a clear shower curtain, but Sydney wanted to find like a cool, fancy like fabric one that would go around this, so it'll look a little bit cleaner later on. But what we did is we took some of this 1/2 inch compression copper line, so it's like kind of bendable and workable. And I built it inside the tub spacing basically before, and then I went and soldered on these tiny little like brackets. So I took a piece of that copper tubing, smushed it down flat, bent it around a piece of chisel that I had, a cold chisel that was like round, and then I put a little 90 in it, and then yeah, just kind of soldered it on there, and it seems to work pretty good. It's maybe not as beautiful as I wanted it to be. I debated like TIG welding it, but I don't have the right TIG gas. And I was like, nah, I've never TIG welded copper before. I know it's possible, but I don't know about that. Also, we got the the closet completed too. So we got the rod in there, the hangers in there. We got the trim for the sisal rope done. So yeah, it's really good. There is a bit of painting and caulking and touch-ups that need to be done in the closet there before it's really usable. As well as here, we got some caulking and stuff to do around the tub and get that all wrapped up. So that's what I'm going to do now, so that those things are basically finished and ready to go. Our little bathroom area is basically done. So that's really, really awesome. And yeah, Sydney will be surprised when she gets home, I think. What's up, Bugger Beans? Okay.
What is up, Bugger Beans?
Today is the fateful day that we get to take the bus on its maiden voyage. Where are we going, Sid?
Well, I thought we were going to Sylvan Lake. But...
We are going to Sylvan Lake.
Okay, cool. Love it.
We are going to go from here. We're going to go to Lacombe and get diesel.
We don't know if we're going to make it.
Hopefully we can make it to diesel. Or to Lacombe to get diesel.
We know lots of wonderful people in Lacombe that would likely help us out if we didn't.
The problem is running a diesel out of gas is like not just like, oh, fill it up and it starts again. It's like a big pain in the butt.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Hopefully we make it. Then we're going to go from Lacombe. We're going to go to Sylvan Lake and we're going to get some ice cream.
Of course.
And then we're going to go into Red Deer and go to the weigh scales and see how much this beastie weighs.
Any guesses? Leave
Yeah.
a comment down below.
Put a guess in the comment down below, and then check us out on Instagram, and we'll tell you how much it weighs.
Ooh, love that.
Yeah.
We won't say it in this video.
We won't say it in this video. So let's get to it. Hey-o, Bugger Beans! We made it to Sylvan Lake. So we went to Fast Gas in Lacombe and got diesel, and we had like half a tank actually. So
Yeah,
our fuel
okay.
gauge wasn't reporting properly. So no issues there. Cost us $135 to fill up. So
This is not much more than the Land Rover.
yeah, not much more than
I
Land Rover,
filled the
not
Land
too bad.
Rover up yesterday for $112.
Yeah, so not too bad. So we're in Sylvan Lake now, and we're gonna go get some ice cream.